Hi dear Scorpios, it's Core from Core Astrology, and today I want to chat with you about the eclipse season that we're in, and of course also the great big Saturn Pluto conjunction and how this is going to affect you. So for all the Sun Scorpios, this is more of a Yang experience of how you radiate out into the world. If you are a Scorpio Moon, this will be more of an internal reflective experience, and if you are a Scorpio Ascendant, this will be more of a material manifestation in your life. So let's chat and start off with the new moon cycle on the 26th of December, which was a time for you to set new intentions and have this awareness about a breeding potential in terms of your hopes and dreams and your imaginations that you want to use to improve on your communication skills. It happened to you in an area, or it occurred in an area in your life that relates to how you think and communicate and how you talk, and it also relates very much to siblings and neighborhoods and co-workers and your immediate environment. And there are things there that are coming to your forefront, especially over the last year of 2019, where you're realizing that there might be anxieties or blockages from the past or traumas related to siblings or neighborhoods or environments that are allowing your expression to be more filled with anxiety and worries and concerns. And you're holding back because of the blockages in this area. And on the new moon, there could have been this intention to say, I want to change these things. I want to speak with more love. I want to be less fearful. I want to improve the relationships with my neighbors and my siblings, for instance. This awareness that what's been working for you over the last 29 years in terms of how you communicate and think and contracts that you have in your life are now outdated and no longer serving a purpose for you. It's as though your soul has grown and wants to evolve into being a more dignified master that is conservative and that wants to have a sense of longevity when it comes to relationships to neighbors, siblings, and also to how you communicate, think, and write, and also teach. So as this was happening in the new moon, and the moon started growing, these intentions become stronger and stronger and stronger. And as the moon becomes full and it reaches its sense of completion, as it's at its furthest point away at 180 degrees away from the sun, and it's in full moon, your emotions around these situations will be very heightened. Now, for all the improvements that you've have made, let's say, for instance, you've started a meditation course to start looking into the blockages of how you think, because the way we talk to ourselves, the things that we think about ourselves are pretty much the things that we attract into our lives. And if your thoughts are self-depreciating, and if they are not conclusive to good and higher thinking, then this is the environment that you create around yourself. If you're full of worry and anxiety all the time, or you're arguing or fighting with neighbors and siblings all the time, this can get exhausting. And what's happened throughout 2019 with Saturn and Pluto being in the same area in your life, they are saying that these structures are outdated and they're no longer serving you, and it's time for a change. And as this full moon comes to completion, you might realize, wow, I've managed to, in the last 14 days, stick with these intentions to speak more lovingly to myself or to my neighbors or my siblings, or work more lovingly with paperwork and communications and admin, kind of get new systems into place so that it doesn't seem as frustrating and difficult. Now, should you at the full moon find that you are grumpy with yourself because you feel like you haven't made enough strides forward and you're still having self-negative thought, or you're still having arguments with neighbors or siblings, and you're frustrated about this, don't act like a lunatic, because that's where the word comes from, the word lunar, and it relates to how our emotions are out for all to see at full moon. This is when our emotions run high, and when the moon is illuminating, when you look out the window, it's really light, this specific situation in your life, and you're sort of fed up and you're thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. And what you can do to kind of compensate this the sense of lunacy or this oversensitivity in terms of your emotions or thinking, is to make lists. And two of these lists, the one can be a gratitude list where you can reflect and see, how have I improved in all of these relations? And you can also make a list of forgiveness to yourself for what it is that you didn't manage to move forward on, and maybe still went into old habits and did old thinking and old ways of communicating and doing things based on fear versus basing them on love. So this will come to a head on the 10th of January for you. And where the moon shines, it also illuminates things. And for you, it's shining fully in an area in your life which is all related to belief systems. So this is actually the crux and the core of how you communicate and think about yourself, is the belief systems that you have. Now, this area in your life not only rules your belief systems, it also rules spirituality and foreign travel. Foreign travel opens up your mind to different cultures, and with that you can change your belief systems, because you can think, well, in my culture I used to XYZ, which is why I was filled with anxiety when I talk. However, there are cultures, other cultures that do XYZ, and I no longer fear whatever it is about your siblings or neighbors or the paperwork or how you communicate and talk with yourself. And by learning about these belief systems and spirituality and philosophy, and working with counselors and gurus and people wiser than yourself that can teach you ways how to improve on your communication skills and how you think and talk and communicate with yourself, is really the way to go. And this is going to be the emphasis on the 10th of January when the full moon is there. Also, what might happen is that if there's anything that you've lost related to a foreign item, or tickets for a foreign flight that you're doing, during the full moon we often find things that were lost, and also secrets that exist seem to come into illumination when the moon is there with all of the light shining at this area in your life. So hopefully you will find any documents that you might have lost, or some secrets might reveal themselves, which will help you get more insights into belief systems which are going to help you forward in the matters related that I mentioned. Now, also assisting you on this process is a very exciting relationship. It started materializing around March 2019. This is when Uranus went into Taurus, and it's in an area in your life which is all about relationships. So this could be a business partner, this could be a marriage partner, this could be a live-in lover, close, intimate relationship, this could be a best friend that arrives and shakes up your world somewhat. Scorpio is a fixed sign, so there's difficulty in changing. And sometimes perhaps what is required is this Uranian energy which comes sudden out of the blue. It's like a lightning strike. It illuminates the situation about you and relationships. And what it is highlighting is this, excuse me for a second. It is illuminating this need for change in terms of your outlook for relationships. So this bright light that comes with a sudden out of the blue lightning bolt, which is what this person feels like in your life as they enter your life for all the Scorpios, the changes that they bring in, the chaos that they bring in, kind of rattles your cage a little bit and makes you look at how and where it is that you are very fixed and stuck in your life, because this is what the Scorpio nature is. It is very much likes to control situations and likes to keep them stable and doesn't really like change that much. Now, with Uranus entering this area in your life, expect a kind of revolutionary, awakening, shock-like type of disruptive, but also very exciting and liberating relationship that allows for a new sense of independence and freedom that you are giving to this person in the relationship. They need a lot of freedom. These people that enter your life, they need a lot of space. They are very innovative, and with that they of course rub some of this off onto you. Try not to restrict them, because the energy of Uranus is just the opposite of that. It wants freedom. And they are teaching you also the sense of how you can become independent and more free, and how you can possibly consider changing your belief system so that you can loosen up the way your anxieties and fears interfere with your thought processes and your worries and concerns, and how you communicate. So to help you along with this, we also have Neptune in an area in your life which is bringing a lot of romance to you. Neptune is the planet of romance. It's in an area of romance. So your world seems very romantic at the same time with all of this going on. And there's a sense of you wanting to express yourself more romantically, more spiritually, more connected to God and the divine. And there's a sense of having to trust that God or the universe's energies are here to assist you and make you more graceful, or give you grace in terms of how you love and give love to others. This is a sense of self-expressing your boundarylessness, your romance, your connection to spirit, where you realize that you're a spiritual being and not a material being. In other words, when you're making love, it's more as a spiritual giving of yourself versus the material aspect of it. The physical aspect is not as strongly alive as the spiritual boundarylessness that we are all one and connected. And equally so, this could also be related to your children. Maybe this is the time where your children take up art or music, or do something that's more creative, or teach you about spirituality. So this area is about joy and having fun, and it's about entertainment. And with Neptune in this area, it truly wants you to do more art, do more of the spiritual things, have more fun with this kind of higher kind of love, which is more godly than just the kind of fun, let's call it superficial way of loving. So, dear Scorpios, I hope this illuminates the Saturn Pluto conjunction for you, which is truly a time of revival. It's a time of pivotal change. It's a turning point. On the 12th of January, you will say no more. Everything that you started realizing throughout 2019 as Saturn and Pluto got closer and closer. You are ready. The expiration date has arrived. You're ready to let that go. You want to move forward and construct a whole new way of thinking, a whole new way of communicating, a way that is free of anxieties and worries and paranoias. It's kind of like you want to free yourself and become more liberated as this person who can express themselves in a more loving and less worried way. Maybe reflect back to where were you 29 years ago, because this is possibly when some of these fears arose. And in the last 29 years, your psyche and your soul has been working with it, and they truly are ready to let go whatever it was that you started 29 years ago and go up a higher octave, which is about mastering your communications and thinking and thoughts, and mastering your relationships with siblings. It is about ambition. It is about self-discipline. It is also about doing things the right way. Rules and regulations are very important when you consider how you're going to communicate going forward. So it's about being conservative and building up a new structure in terms of how you think and communicate, which can be long-lasting and serve you over at least the next 29 years. I hope this YouTube has helped you. If it does, please subscribe and also like it if you enjoyed the YouTube. And I send you blessings through this very pivotal time. I'm not too sure if I'd mentioned at the beginning of the YouTube, but it was 502 years ago last that Saturn Pluto conjuncted in the sign of Capricorn. And this is truly a transformational time where you can fly like a phoenix arisen from the ashes in terms of how you think and how you teach, and these relationships with your neighbors and siblings. It is a brand new you and a very pivotal turning point, and I hope that you make the best of it, not to fear it, and to enjoy the evolutionary growth of your spirit and your soul, but to become more authentic, because this is really what it's about, to become authentic, better version of yourself. So dear Scorpios, enjoy the process. Sending love and blessings. Namaste. Thank you for listening to the YouTube. Take care. Bye-bye.